วัสดีทุกคนค่ะ大家好 Hello everyone welcome back to my video ฉันไม่อยากจะเชื่อเลยว่าฉันเรียนภาษาไทยมาเป็นปีแล้วค่ะไม่อยากเชื่อค่ะ It's been a year Where's the time gone? Time flies when your life is in lockdown, doesn't it? So in today's video, I will be looking back at my 30-day video just so I can cringe. I will also be sharing things that went well this year, things that didn't go well. I will be telling you my plans for continuing to learn Thai, and I will also be giving you a little of my current level. I'm going to show you how I went from this ฉันชื่อ Victoria ฉันมาจากประเทศอังกฤษ to this
จบเลยนะคะอยากให้คุณแนะนำสถานที่เที่ยวในประเทศอังกฤษที่ไม่ควรพลาดค่ะ
คุณความไปที่ลอนดอนไอเพราะคุณจะได้เห็นวิทิวทัศน์ของกรุงลอนดอนค่ะ In 1 year there'll be timestamps below, so if you want to skip to a certain section do that. Let's just kick off with looking back at my 30-day video and trying not to cringe too hard. Okay, let's go. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Oh, look how slim I look. This was before lockdown weight. If you've been following along, you will know that I have been doing a 30-day challenge. Now, before I let you know how I am getting on, I would also like to point out that this was actually meant to have stayed at 30 days. I had no intention of going beyond that, and yet here we are a year later. First thing I learned was the alphabet. It was still agree. Let me rewind. If you're someone who is purely interested in just speaking, then what I did is probably the longer way to go about it. I wanted to sort of cover all of the foundations, make sure I could read and write and listen and speak. So the first thing I did was learn the alphabet, and I'm not gonna lie, I still get confused by some of them because they look so similar. I'm just like, Still get confused.
After I'd done that, I then was working on speaking, and when I say speaking, just really basic stuff, so facts about me, how to sort of ask how someone is. So what I'm going to do now is just give you a few facts about myself because it's the best topic in the world. So I'm going to be doing this. สวัสดีปีวันนี้เป็นวันจันทร์ฉันชื่อ Victoria. Why does my voice go like that? I've got actual tears in my eyes. วันนี้วันจันทร์วันนี้วันจันทร์ Why did my voice go up like that? Please. I need to start roasting myself. Why am I roasting myself? ฉันชื่อ Victoria ฉันมาจากประเทศอังกฤษฉันมีพี่สาว3 คนฉันเป็นลูกสาวคนสุดท้องI think ฉันอายุ14 ปี
20 not 40
ฉันเกิดเดือนกรกฎาคมand I will be 4-5 ปี I believe but we're trying anyway ฉันชอบสีฟ้า
True story. The only reason I said I like the colour blue is because I had learnt colours, and I was like, you're gonna hear today what I learnt.
Not blue. ฉันพูดภาษาไทยได้นิดหน่อยค่ะ
I knew I was gonna say that.
พูดภาษาไทยใช่ค่ะ
ใช่
ค่ะ
ฉัน
หวังว่า
ใช่ใช่
ภาษาไทยได้ฉันหวัง
I have notes.
ว่าฉันจะพูดภาษาไทยได้ค่ะ or I could be like okay เข้าใจเลย
Didn't even pronounce that correctly.
Like 4 or 5 sentences. Apps that I have been using.
Okay, we don't need to see more. Thank you, Victoria. Your time is up. It's now my time. Present day Victoria. before I made that video, when I first started this Thai journey, when I did a 7-day and then a 30-day, my goal was not to be fluent. It was just to see how much I could learn in lockdown, because I didn't think lockdown would go for as long as it has. Yeah, so I didn't expect lockdown to go that far, but here we are, thriving. So the first thing I want to do is go through some of the things that I've learned over this year in terms of how I've been learning, what went well, what didn't go well. I'm going to share some of my tips and tricks. I am going to be making another video about apps because I've been using a lot more new apps now that I've kind of gone past the initial very beginner stage, and I'm now like medium rare beginner. Then I've now upgraded the apps that I use. So these are just some quick tips that I think you would find beneficial. The first is focus on useful things. Things that are gonna be beneficial and you'll need to say. So in that video, my 30-day video, I was there saying, for example, chan chop si fa. Okay, perfection. When is anyone gonna ask me that? Who cares? I can say colours though. Si fa, si kiao, si khao, si shampoo, si leung, si dang, si dam. But ask me what the months are and my brain freezes, because for some reason I learned the months, don't get it twisted, but for some reason they're just gone. Every time I try and learn the months, it stays for like a day and then it goes. But I remember all of the colours. Why? Stick to useful things. Focus only at first anyway on the things you're going to be saying all the time. So when you're learning a language, it's going to be Sawadee ka, Kotot na, Tanya, Tantop, all these sort of things that you're gonna need. My second tip is learn how to read. Do not skip reading. It is not as hard as you think, and once you learn the alphabet, you're good to go. Make sure you're reading. I have learned a lot and retained a lot just from being able to read, because I'm able to look at something and I'll be like, I don't know that word. What is that word? And then I'll slowly sound it out like I would in English. And you don't want to skip out on a whole skill. Reading is one of the 4 skills. So I highly recommend that you read. Read. Start with very basic stuff. So at the moment I'm reading nursery rhymes because I'm a child at heart. Tip number 3 to do in your first year: find friends. Find as many friends as you can. Do not stop looking for friends, because your friends are going to be one of your best resources. My friends recommend songs, books, shows, help me with my grammar, help me when I'm stuck, help me all the time, and of course I help them in exchange. Honestly, they are one of my best resources, because not only do you learn from them, but you make amazing relationships with these people and you become friends with people you never would have met. Tip number 4, practice your mistakes. You make a mistake, remember the mistake, practice the mistake. Make the mistake, remember the mistake, practice the mistake. Rinse and repeat. Don't just kind of blip over your mistakes. Keep practicing until you eventually get it. So for me, there are things that I always make a mistake on, and it's usually pronunciation. Make sure you continue to practice those mistakes. Do not just like ignore them. Tip number 5, find the best resource for you in how to learn and stick with it. We don't all learn the same, so make sure you're finding the one that works for you and you carry on with it. I have made videos about apps that I use. I've made videos about songs and podcasts. I'm very like hands-on. I like to be doing it rather than, for example, sitting and reading a book all day. For me, that's just not the best way. Tip number 6 is to substitute words for Thai. I do this a lot in my head. If I'm doing something, I will use the Thai word. I do it with Chinese as well. I will use the alternative. I will use the Thai word for certain things just so it reinforces it in my head. For example, I met up with my Thai friends. She was like, oh, so where are we gonna go? And I'm like, oh, we can go and see Yurataban Kong Chan. Anything to try and get it in. When I say Rataban Kong Chan, I don't really mean we're going to go and see the literal government. Just meant that we were going to go and see Parliament. Final one for what I'd recommend. This is very boring. Everyone says this, but it is true, and that is consistency. You have to stay consistent. I'm not talking every day. That's very bad for me. I should say every day. People say every day. I didn't do every day. I'm not gonna lie. Try and do it at least every week. Every week is my sort of minimum goal. Some weeks I'm doing it every day because I'm just super motivated that week. Other weeks I'm like, do not even talk to me about languages. I don't want to hear it. I just want to relax. I want to relax. I want to watch English. I want to hear English because my brain is tired. And then there are other days I'm like, I don't know English. Don't talk to me in English. Only Thai or Chinese, please. Thank you. This is a study zone. One good thing that I do is the 5-minute rule, and that is do something for 5 minutes, whatever it is. So learning Thai for 5 minutes. If after 5 minutes you're still like, I don't want to do it, then stop. You've given yourself 5 minutes, move on, do something else. Okay, so now we're going to move on to what I should have done. And this is very ironic because my first note is I should have spent more time studying. I'm terrible. Yes, I should have spent more time studying because there were times where I just didn't revise. There are certain things I wish I had spent more time on. So for example, months, like I said at the beginning of the video, for some reason they're just not sticking in my head. I do wish that I had spent a bit more time really drilling those in at the start, and that is something that I'm still working on now, so it's never too late. I wish I'd have practiced my reading a lot earlier than I did, because I would say my reading level is like a baby and my speaking level is like a toddler. So I wish that they were a bit more in line. Try and keep your skills so that they're all progressing at a very nice and even level. So I wish I had typed in Thai a lot more on my laptop and stuff, because now when I type in Thai, I am like a snail, because I'm like, what key does this do? What does this one do? And what does this one do? Because I want to get to a level where I can just type like I would in English. So I wish I'd have made typing in Thai a stricter practice at the start of my journey rather than trying to do it now. And my final sort of wish that I had done is very similar to what I said in the first one, and that is to just revise the basic information. So what happened with some things like months is I would learn it and I'm like, okay, cool, I've got that, and I'd move on, and then I wouldn't go back quickly enough to revise it, and then I'd forget it. And rather than revising it, I felt like I was learning it again. My brain was just like, babes, we don't need this, it's got to go. So my plan for the next year is basically carry on as I am. Gonna be revising, making sure that I'm keeping that basic information locked and loaded, practicing my speaking, my reading, my typing, and hopefully in a year's time, which we all know is gonna fly by, we will be in a much better and stronger place, hopefully. So now I wanted to just quickly show you some of my resources that I've been using in terms of textbook, because I have seen people mention textbooks in the comments of some of my other videos. I don't use textbooks. I have 0 textbooks, but I do have one Thai book, and that is this one, which is Outrageous Thai, which was in fact a gift. It's got swear words, it's got dating, drinks, it's got personal traits. So I'm not sure how good this is if you were to use this and then be like, I'm just gonna use this Thai that I've learned from Outrageous Thai in Thailand. Not sure if you're gonna get arrested or slapped in the face. So I'm not going to endorse the book. However, it is a funny book to read. So an example from the book is Pood Mekoi Gang There Not There D. Apparently that is, he's not a good speaker, but he is good looking. So it's things like that in this book. It has got a pronunciation guide in here and like all of that. The first thing I did was I made a plethora of study cards, as you can see, flashcards. The first part I did was, I believe I showed this in one of my earlier videos, was all of the consonants. So you can, this camera does not like me, does it? For example there. So there are certain consonants that need ho heap. That's ho heap. So what I did is I made a study card so I knew which ones require ho heap. The other study cards are words. And then we move on to my lessons. So I have 3 books at the moment. This was my workbook, which is messy to say the least. I've even got tea stains on it. It is awfully messy. Just look at it. Look at it. Just messy, 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 messy. This was my rough book. Then I upgraded myself to this book, which is beautiful. Look at this. Look at this in comparison. Beautiful. And this was again just of different lessons, and I would write down keywords. And one thing that I created, which I highly recommend if you are interested in typing, I made my own keyboard. And I downloaded a Thai keyboard onto my laptop, and then I wrote out the various keys and which key they were so that I can learn how to touch type in Thai. And then my final notebook is the holy grail of all my notebooks. This is my favorite one because this just has it's a more condensed version of the other one. So again, we've just got all my study notes in here, like words that could be useful that I need. So yes, that's how I use my notebooks. And of course my phone has many apps for Thai. I have a whole folder of apps on here. Those are the ways in which I actually learn and have been learning this year. So now finally, the final part of this very long video is my current level. So I didn't know what to talk about in my current level because I've done quite a few videos in Thai, and quite recently I did videos talking about my Easter tradition. Both of those are in Thai. So I feel like there's a lot that's been said. สวัสดีค่ะ ฉันชื่อ Victoria ค่ะ ตอนนี้ฉันที่ประเทศอังกฤษ ช่วงนี้ที่ประเทศอังกฤษสถานการณ์โควิดไม่รุนแรงค่ะ เพราะคนเยอะฉีดวัคซีนแล้วค่ะ พ่อและแม่ของฉันฉีดวัคซีนเข็ม2แล้วค่ะ ฉันไม่รู้เมื่อไรฉีดวัคซีนค่ะ ฉันแค่อายุ45 ปีค่ะ ที่ประเทศอังกฤษแค่คนแก่ฉีดวัคซีนแล้วค่ะ แต่ตอนนี้คน40ต้นเข็มแรกค่ะ รัฐบาลของฉันบอกว่าเราออกไปได้ค่ะ แต่กินในโรงอาหารไม่ได้ค่ะ เราต้องกินออกโรงอาหาร ไม่รู้ค่ะ outside. So that's just a quick snippet on my current level. I didn't want to go into too much because obviously I've got other videos that will be linked and you can have a look. But that is the end. So please drop down below how you're getting on in your Thai journey. It has been a whole year for me. How long has it been for you? If there are anything tips you want to share, put them down below. Otherwise, smash the subscribe button for more tips and tricks for learning Thai and to follow me on my journey. So as always, have a blessed day. And until next time, Sawadee Tup Kong Ka, Zai Jian. Goodbye everyone.